Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you all for stopping by. Happy Saturday. Hello, 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 hello. Hey guys, so I appreciate all my subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. I will say to my subscribers, I will encourage you guys to share. You know, I can tell a stranger to share too, or I can tell a visitor to share, but especially you, my subscribers, when you watch my videos, I invite you to share. I invite you to feel free to comment. Some of you email me. I would tell you I normally put my emails in my description box. Sometimes I forget. If I upload from like a desktop or things like that, it's automatically there. But if I upload from the phone or other things, it's not. So I have to put it in on my own, and sometimes I do forget. So if you want to email me something and you see that I don't have my email in this particular video, I invite you to just check my other ones. You'll find it, okay? It's trifina39@gmail.com. Trifina39. So TRIPHINA 39@gmail.com. Okay, Trifina is the name of my late grandmother. So I'm very fond of her. So I named my channel after her. Well, my email. All right, so now that I've told you a little bit about myself and my life and my grandmother, I'm going to give you the word of the Lord today. So the word that I got is behind the scenes. God is calling you out. Those of you that's been behind the scenes, God is calling you out. God is saying it's time to come forward. You've been in the background long enough. You've been in the background and you've been comfortable being in the background. You've been comfortable being the one to encourage from the rear, and you're okay helping and giving a helping hand and supporting others, but God is calling you out. So those of you that's been behind the scenes, those of you that's been hidden, God is calling you forward in this time. It is time for you to come forward in whatever avenue, whatever mediums that He has placed on your heart. It's time for you to come forward. God has heard your excuses. God has heard your reasons. You have told Him all the reasons why you are not able to and all that's going on. But the word of the Lord today is that it's not by your might or your power, but by His Spirit. He wants you to remember that greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. So He wants you to realize, just like Moses, who felt he was not skilled because of because of his speech. Some of you may feel you are not capable because of your speech, because you don't speak well, because of your educational background, because of certain things you feel that you're not in the right place. But God is calling you out to come to Him. Now remember, every word is not for everybody, okay? So therefore, some of you be like, I know this is for me because God has been speaking this to me. And some of you, you're still like, I don't know. So you need to seek the Lord. And some of you, it may not be you because you are moving forward, right? You are doing the things God's calling you to do. But I hear the Lord saying clear as day that those of you that has been in the background, it is time for you to come forward. It's time for you to come forward. He's been put in my spirit that there's some of you, you've been in the background, but not on your own choice, by your own choice, but because there's somebody that you've been helping. You have been a help to them. You have been like assisting them, and they don't want to release you. They don't want you to go because you have been a blessing to them. And so you know that it's time for you to do certain things, and you may have even spoken to them about it, or the Lord has placed it in your spirit, or you feel that drive that now it's time for you to go, the calling, the unction, right, that we say. But what you're doing is this person's telling you something else because they want to keep you there. They want to keep you there. They want to keep your light hidden, okay? They have become used to you being there for them. They see how the fruits of your labor has always been a blessing and caused them to thrive in their positions. So they want to keep you in the background. And sometimes, my brothers and sisters, it's jealousy. They're jealous. They're afraid that you may get more attention. People may draw more to you, where God is not even calling us to compete with one another. Okay, we all have our own skill. We all have people that needs to be drawn to us. So God is saying you don't need to wait for anyone to release you. He said, when I speak my word to you and when I tell you it's time for you to move forward, then you need to be able to move when I tell you to move. Don't stay underneath anybody who wants to keep you back and is telling you it's not time. The Lord says, I've spoken to your heart on what you need to do at this time, at this moment. But a lot of times, some people that is, you want to say, over you, or you've been working with them, they don't want you to leave because, number one, they're afraid of how they're going to be able to continue without you being there. Now they're doing everything on their own. And because of pride, sometimes because of some of their own insecurities and concern, and sometimes just simply their heart is not right towards you. A lot of times when you've been in a position of serving, they can't see you being in leadership. They can't see you going forward because you're just a servant. But no, God says, I call people to serve before I put them into the position of being up front, to continue to serve on a higher platform. But first you were humbled and you did things in smaller scales and smaller increments according to where I placed you. But the Lord is saying, a lot of you are behind the scenes and He's calling you to the front. It's time to come out. Come out wherever you are. It's time to come out. I hear the Lord saying it very clearly. He's calling you from behind the scenes. A lot of you, you've got a book. You've got books of prophetic words. You've got books of revelation. And the Lord is saying, seek me and I will show you the things that it's time for you to share. God says, I have not been feeding you. I have not been fattening you up so that you can now hide it or keep it to yourself. Time for you all to come out. God has been telling some of you all, it's time to write a book. And you say, Lord, I don't know how to write a book. But why don't you talk to others who have written books? Why don't you check and explore the avenues that perhaps the Lord has told you to check on your own on writing books? You know, writing a book has become a lot more simpler, even without a publisher. Self-publishing is possible. I don't know all the ins and outs of it. But I even know with myself that the Lord has placed it in my heart that I need to write a book. So this word is even for me as well, okay? God has been speaking to you all about writing books. God has been talking to you all about starting channels. God has been talking to you about starting ministries. God has been speaking to you all, some of you, about going out into the mission fields. God has been speaking to some of you all on starting something for the homeless. God has been speaking to you all about starting something for men, for teens, for young girls, young boys. It's time for you to come out in the open. It's time for you to come out front. You've been behind the scenes. I see some of you working diligently in ministries and in areas, and you're comfortable because, okay, I can still do the things of God, but not go all the way out. But God is calling you out from behind the scenes. It's time for you to come out. Let me look at this thing again that the Lord had me write. Behind the scenes, God is calling you out. That's what He says. Behind the scenes, you've been behind the scenes for a long time. God is calling you out. God is calling you out. I'm even feeling in my spirit that the Lord is speaking about sometimes there are husbands, men of God. God has been calling you to do some things, to go into the area of ministries, but your wife don't want you to do it. Your wife don't want you to do it. And I hear the Lord saying, do not be like Eli. Don't be like Eli, who he was doing the work of God, but the bottom line is allowing sin to prevail. Staying your hand instead of maybe removing his sons, he didn't, because they were his sons. So bottom line, what it is, there's certain areas that you're willing to compromise for a loved one. Some of you women, God has called you to do some things. God has called you to do some things. And you're not doing it because, well, you're thinking about other people. You're going to stand before God on your own. Remember, none of us is going to be able to stand before God with a group of people saying, hey, go up there and tell God when I try to do this, why I couldn't do it because of what you said. No, God's going to ask you, what have you done with the things that I told you to do? What have you done with the gifts and the talents and the anointings that I told you to do? There's no excuse, my brothers and sisters. And understandably, we must use wisdom. You must pray. Go before the Lord. When you go before Him, pray and say, Lord, I hear your voice. What do you want me to do, and what format and how? Because God is a God of order, right? So you must realize sometimes if you're a single father, single mother, or your schedule and craziness, God is going to give you a way to get things done and still take care of your family. He's not telling you to abandon your household and your responsibilities. And with technology today, my brothers and sisters, guess what? If you're a person that you just can't leave because of your household responsibilities and kitties and things of that nature, guess what? We have these platforms where you can still send out the word of God all over the world and be right at home with your family, or at a time that everyone's gone to bed or they're at school or whatever it may be. But the Lord is saying, it's time to come out. You've been in the background long enough. It's time for you to come forward. This is a time. This is a time to come out of the background and come forward to do His work. This is the word of the Lord today. Peace out.